Saudi Aramco is a massive business. Many of you may not have ever heard of Saudi Aramco, but Saudi Aramco is the third largest company in the world by market cap. They were rumored to start being interested in mining Bitcoin. Now, as a oil giant, I figured that maybe we should look at Saudi Aramco as a business before we talk about them potentially mining Bitcoin. So, my keys just fell, whatever. We're going to keep going. You see how that's how you know this thing is live, like trillionaire energy, whatever, it's fine. The market cap of the company is $1.8 trillion. In 2020, they had revenue of $230 billion, and they booked $49 billion in profit, which was almost half of what they did in 2019. Remember, pandemic, oil, not as popular. They did $88 billion in profit in 2019. They have 66,000 employees. How the hell do they make so much revenue and profit? Well, they have some of the lowest costs of production in the world. This comes from the Financial Times, which source is Saudi Aramco. So take with that what you want. But what you can see is that the 2018 full cycle dollars per barrel, the Saudi Arabia producing fields was just over $10 was the cost per barrel. If you compare that to China offshore, they pay almost $70 a barrel to produce 1 barrel of oil. If you then look in the United States, onshore costs us about $45. Offshore, it costs us just over $40. So when the price of oil drops to $20, $30, even $40, the United States companies are actually underwater. It costs them more to produce a barrel of oil than it does to sell it. They lose money. Saudi Arabia, however, is the king of the mountain. They literally can see the price of oil drop to $11 and they still make money. Everyone else in the industry can be underwater and Saudi Arabia will still be profitable because their cost of producing 1 barrel is so low. It is about 1/4 or about 25% of what it costs US onshore or offshore to produce a barrel of oil. Pretty good. But if you look at the oil reserves, meaning the oil that is under the ground, Saudi Arabia is basically kings of the world. Why? Because the Saudi-owned oil giant has more than 7 times as many oil reserves as the combined reserves of Exxon and Shell. That's right. Exxon and Shell, those are big boy companies. Everyone in the Western world thinks of Exxon and Shell and they're like, wow, 24.8 billion barrels and Shell 11.7 billion. Saudi Aramco has 7 times more than both of them combined. And not only do they have 7 times more barrels than Exxon and Shell combined, but their cost of production is at least 25% or less than what it costs Exxon and Shell to produce. So if you have 7 times more barrels than both combined and your cost is 25% less, and you simply sell as much as they do, you likely are going to be pretty profitable. And so if we look at Saudi Aramco as the profit king, what you can see is that in 2018, profits from Saudi Aramco equaled the combined totals of Apple, Google, and Exxon. This is a massive business.
Yeah, but those are small companies.
Apple, Google, and Exxon. Just some internet companies and an energy company that no one's ever really heard of before. Combine up all their profits, and Saudi Aramco did the exact same as those 3 businesses combined. This business is insane. Now, in the oil production process, gas is a byproduct, and it's often burned or flared. We had Marty Bent on the podcast last week, and he talked about gas flare capture, meaning when you flare the gas, it's really bad for the environment. And if you can capture that and then convert it into energy and mine Bitcoin, you can actually take what is a waste, something that you do not monetize for your business, even though you're the profit king, you could then drive more additional revenue. Now, it would be a really big deal if Saudi Aramco decided to start mining Bitcoin. We know that Saudi Aramco officials have been in Telegram channels with Bitcoiners for over a year. Marty Bent, Steve Barber, a number of these folks all reporting over the weekend that these Aramco officials have been looking at this stuff. They've been learning about Bitcoin and about Bitcoin mining. Now, when you see that these oil companies can get more revenue for a product that they already are producing and simply burning off or getting rid of, and you also see that miners can now get incredibly cheap access to power, you realize that it could create a win-win solution. Now, my guess is that as we were going into today, Saudi Aramco was going to say exactly what they ended up saying this morning, which is, we deny the report that we were looking at Bitcoin mining. My guess also is that Saudi Aramco is absolutely looking at Bitcoin mining, and they would have to. It is a new opportunity. It is a new potential revenue stream that could turn what is an incredibly environmentally damaging waste stream from their process into something that is more environmentally friendly and could drive significant revenue and profit. Now, if you are sitting like Saudi Aramco and you have the profits of combined Apple, Google, and Exxon, you may not be worried about squeaking out a couple extra shekels here and there. But if those shekels weren't shekels and instead they were Bitcoin, it may actually drive you to be much, much more interested in it. And so Saudi Aramco has actually invested in blockchain platforms. They've gone blockchain, not Bitcoin, which is yet to be determined. Data Gumbo and VACT, V-A-K-T. They aid in the management and automation of new contracts and invoices. And in 2019, the oil giant committed to achieving net zero gas flaring by 2030. And they also joined a World Bank initiative to reduce flaring. So they've been looking at the space. They've made some investments in non-mining related types of opportunities. And they've committed to getting to zero gas flaring by 2030. The best, easiest, and most profitable way to do that is through Bitcoin mining and through gas flare capture. And my guess is that by 2030, we will see a headline that says Saudi Aramco is mining Bitcoin. It may not happen today. It may not have started already. But when that happens in the next 8-9 years, don't be surprised. If you have cheap power, the economic incentive to mine Bitcoin, secure the network, and verify transactions of the strongest computing network in the world is too strong. You absolutely will have to join the game because it is likely that the oil of which your business is built on will become less and less valuable over time as we move to more clean energy and to more electric vehicles and other types of energy sources. But the Bitcoin will continue to get more valuable. And so I wouldn't be surprised. We have quotes here from two different people. One is the head of Gazprom Neft, which is, I think, the big Russian energy business. It says, quote, energy from associated gas can power data centers and mining farms. This will increase the percentage of rational use of raw materials. This is especially true for remote regions of Siberia and the Arctic, where the transportation of associated gas from the fields is unprofitable. So something that is unprofitable can now be profitable. This isn't Saudi Aramco, but this is Russian Gazprom. Then we can see the head of mining operations at Wise and Trust, Raymond Nasir, who I actually had the opportunity to meet at one point, very nice guy, said, quote, we are negotiating with Aramco. We are negotiating with Aramco. All black liquid oil that comes out of the desert belongs to this company. All the flared gas they're not using, and that's public information, I can tell you. It's not enough to power up it is enough to power up half of the Bitcoin network today from this company alone. It's going to happen. I don't know when. I don't know who's going to be the company that gets them to do it. I don't know if it's an internal or external type initiative.
Recording in progress.
Will mine Bitcoin at some point. They say not now. I say who knows when, but one day. What do you think, John?
Win-win situation. It perfectly suits both parties very well. Yeah, I would be very excited to see this happen. I'm not sure why they're debunking it, maybe internally for certain reasons, but...
Well, people are saying, hey, they've already debunked this. They've already said it's not true. And Saudi Aramco says the claims are completely false and untrue. They obviously wouldn't be the first company to go back on something that they said was false or untrue. But my question would really be like, why wouldn't they do this, right? Like this kind of seems like a no-brainer from a kind of what they're already doing kind of with the gas flares and everything right now and the economic incentive that they would have to use some of that energy to mine Bitcoin. Like, why wouldn't they do it?
If you're Saudi Aramco, this is the most no-brainer thing in the world. You get to run around the world saying, we're not going to hurt the environment as much as we have been. We're going to become a more profitable business. And now we're going to hold the Bitcoin on our balance sheet.
ESG. You get to throw that word around.
I'm not going to go there. But what I will say is, Aramco, if you guys want some help, call me. I got friends.
On the show.
I'm not going to do anything, but I got friends who will help you.